Hello. Now, usually a smaller YouTuber, you generally have YouTubers that fall into like two categories when they're small. YouTubers that don't do this, don't just have a random company or brand they just go after and just say this company is actually bad. It generally is bigger YouTubers who basically have a massive audience where it's like, okay, sure, they'll get less money, but they'll still make a good few grand off it, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I'm not making any money off this. Hopefully in the future, but very unlikely. Especially because I'm tailing a sponsor effectively off. So basically today I'm going to be talking about Squarespace. So a company that sells websites. It's not a great thing. I as you might know, have a website of my own. I have built a website of my own. I have learned to code, but I'm not the best coder. So I've decided when I made a website, and I've made many websites. When I made websites, I didn't code them. I used a website builder to do them because it was just a lot faster and just a lot less, errors, and I don't have a lot of time to spare. So, I've created many websites in the past and in the near future, and it's currently, as of this moment, I did spend the 10 quid required to get a domain to put all the sites on so you can actually Google them. So I have a site called gov.denia.smith-co-media.com, which is basically a website for a project I'm working at, and you can go there and you can take a little look at the future there. Maybe in the future, if you were listening to this video, you'll already know what the project is. But anyway, the point is that I know a bit about websites, and I know a bit about what they cost, and they do not cost 11 quid a month in the slightest. And I'm not just saying, you can code your own website and just get a domain and boom, you pay 11 quid a month. Keep in mind, that's 11 quid a month if you get the annual plan. It's 15 quid a month if you get the per month plan. That's for Squarespace. Squarespace is not a good deal. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, but if I'm paying 11 quid a month, the only thing that's good about that is that I get a free domain, and even then I can't use that domain on multiple websites. I have one domain and I have it across 10 different websites. I just have the dot, and that's the thing I have, and you're not allowed to do that with Squarespace. So I know I usually, when I make these videos, I have a kind of a documentary series I try to do, but with this one, it's just crazy because you have to pay, effectively speaking, over 100 quid a year when you can just pay 10. The options are awful. You have things like, video storage, and you have 30 minutes of video storage. Guess what you can do? Do you know what you can do? You can just store it on these servers anyway for other things. And I'll go through a few of the free options. Contributors, for example, is another thing. I'm sorry, other free ones are unlimited as well. So to pay the unlimited, you need to pay more than 200 quid, So if you're paying 200 quid for this, what is the point? You're paying 200 quid, keep in mind, to get nothing, effectively. Because these things are you're paying 200 quid to get on par with free. So, all of this, it's basically speaking, at the end of the day, I think a pretty awful situation. To actually have a commerce site that you can actually use, you need to spend 200 quid, and with that, you can it's great that that's integrated into the website, but for free, obviously it's free to put it in. It's not free, obviously, to process the payments. But anyway, that's the thing, though. It's transaction fees. Okay, well, they have transaction fees themselves. So if I just use, let's say, if you want to have an actually free website that has commerce in it, I'll give you an example. Stripe are a great company you can use. You can put them in any of the free website builders and you can get them there. The only thing with the free website builders you don't get is a custom domain, and that costs you around 10 quid a year. And that's expensive, keep in mind. I'm not saying that that's nothing. Like, I'm not like a rich person like, it's only 10 quid a year. No, I'm saying that while it is 10 quid a year, and that's relatively expensive for something which may not make it, will most likely not make it back. The point is, if you're someone who wants to build a website, don't use Squarespace. Squarespace is actually a rip-off. I'm not saying it's the worst, because there obviously are a lot worse companies, but it is a pretty bad company. This is basically a video series I like to call Sponsor Watch. It's basically where I break down YouTube sponsors, and I just sort of like just talk about how they're bad. So Squarespace is very, 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 very overpriced. I mean that. Like, I mean that in the extreme. Like, it is overpriced by about 10 times. I'm not necessarily saying that they just use something like Google Sites. I'm not saying like they just use Google Sites and that's it. Like, they basically have no costs effectively, and that's it. But you know, the famous sort of thing where it's like you have to wonder after that. But yeah. At the end of the day, they are a rip-off. Do not ever go for Squarespace. It might make sense if you're a very, very, very wealthy company and you just don't honestly care. But at the end of the day, you're still basically flushing like a couple of £100 down the toilet. There are alternatives that are far cheaper. With the exception, obviously, of domains, I don't think there's any way to get a free domain without having it be a subdomain. And keep in mind, with a website like Google Sites, you do get a subdomain. Like, you do have the ability to search for your website anywhere in the world. On any it is on the internet. It's just that obviously it won't appear in search results. But that's the thing. But with the domain, boom, it gets there. Like, this is just the thing. It's like you do wonder about this. Is this the way we're going? And I know, obviously, this is not as bad as, like, I've talked about Ren before, and they're an awful company. Like, they're actually terrible. Like, they're far worse than this. And I fear that this is going to make my other videos where I talk about, like, really bad companies seem like they won't seem as bad as they are, because I'm bringing up someone who's just overpriced. But I'm just saying, never ever buy from Squarespace. They are an overpriced SHIT company. Also, one of the main things I will say, and this is basically the best route to go down, if you're looking for someone that's sponsored by a YouTuber, the best thing you can do is actually, this is one of the funny things, is to search up the company's market cap. Because if they're spending a bunch on branding and all that, and they're making very little profit, as in every single little squeezy bit of profit is made on, spent on getting new customers. So they've got a very, very, very small amount of profit as actually made, and basically they make no profit. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that's a good thing. Profit is oftentimes, is money. It's basically money laundering. It's rifled through people so that you can reduce your tax bill. But for information, Squarespace has a market cap of, about 2.75 billion. And the market cap is 4.33 billion. But its value, like how much it actually has, is 2.75 billion. So keep in mind of that. They have 2.75 billion. So if you're thinking that, how exactly did they get that? Because when you buy, and I've made this example before, if you buy something from Apple, they're making a nice, healthy profit margin. When a YouTuber is sponsoring somebody, in an industry where you can get something for free, maybe don't buy it if it's being sold by a company that sells just basically that product, and they have a market cap in the billions. It's not great. Even in the millions, it's not great. I talked about Ren before. They had an investment of 8 billion. That's not a great sign. Sorry, 8 million. And when you have that, you just go, yeah. Well, why continue to buy from these companies? Why give them your money? Instead, you can go to Google Sites, for example. Obviously, I'm not saying Google is a great company. What I'm saying is the product is free. So if you want to get a website, get it from Google Sites. That's where I get my websites from. Well, not all of them, but like some of them. Anyway, that's really just it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Do all the YouTuber things of like subscribing and all that. And hopefully I haven't burnt any chances of getting a sponsor in the future. But guess what? I probably won't reach any popularity, so does it really matter? I'm never going to get a sponsor anyway. So yeah, see you next time, I guess, hopefully. But you probably haven't listened to this far because it isn't a great video. I'm just basically saying over and over again, don't buy from Squarespace.